Hey, good afternoon, folks. This is Shadow Stars once again, bringing you another video. As promised on my Twitter, today I'll be digging into a lot of different 13F filings. A lot of the big institutions filed their 13Fs for quarter two, so we can now take a quick comparison as to what sort of movements we've seen between Q1 and Q2. So as I mentioned in my tweet. Big ones: BlackRock, Vanguard. Not sure how to pronounce this. Geode, Northern Trust, Susquehanna. The ones that did update, if I call correctly, Susquehanna didn't. But what I'm going to show you guys is step by step of how I go through the process of gathering this information and verifying it. And my biggest pet peeve, I think I've had a couple videos now in regards to this, is that people use Fintel, people use, was it holdings.com, whale wisdom, all these free sites. So, and they'll go to the site and they'll see that, oh, look at all these updates, look at all these. They'll look at this information and they'll run with it without digging into the actual data. Stuff like this bugs me because anytime you get free information from the non-direct source, is it going to be reliable? Yes, I know some people might point out, hey, you're providing free information that's not direct. Well, I sort my direct source, which is from the SEC Edgar website. So slightly different thing, but anyways, these are three main sites I see a lot of the times people referencing in regards to pulling out 13 Fs or SEC filings, and people never dig more into them. They're not closely scrutinizing the information. I know Fintel's a big hitter, so let's cover stuff like Fintel. So we see BlackRock. Search for it. So they pulled a 13G from them. That was filed back on February. Well, February information is no good to us because they definitely do not have 5.9 million shares. They have a lot more than that. So their most recent filing was on August 11th, a couple days ago. And we see that hey, look, 30,482,159 shares. So what we're going to do is we're going to verify this information. I'm going to show you how to verify this information, look at their previous quarter, then we can come to the conclusion of, hey, what sort of changes were made? Could that be interpreted as a bullish movement, and a bearish movement, and so forth? So let's take a quick look, and same thing, holdingschannels.com. They also show 30,482,000. So is this the same number? 482,159. Yep. Let's see. Did they also show BlackRock? I'd have to probably search it. Let's search through BlackRock. Yep. 30,482,000. Yep. So, okay. Oops, sorry, I was doing some other research for the time being. But here, so this is the SEC website, sec.gov, Edgar, search Edgar. So if you just type in sec.gov, then filings, oops, company filing search. So let's type in BlackRock Inc. So let's look at all their filings. We have their 13F. This 13F was filed, like a lot of the sites report, August 11th, reporting for June 30th. So let's go into the actual filing itself. Same thing. You see the filing date, when it was accepted by the SEC, the period of report. And I want you folks to dig deeper in. Let's dig deep into the primary first page. So we see for what quarter end. So period of June 30th. We got the institutional investment manager, all that good information. And look at all the different managers that it's reporting for. It's a combination report. Check here if portion of this holdings for this reporting manager are reported in this report and a portion reported by other reporting managers. So look at this long grocery list of managers: BlackRock Financial Management, Investment Management, Asset Management, all these different BlackRock advisors, fund advisors, Group Ltd, fund managers, etc. Look at all these. So many different ones. And we'll see how many, the value of their investments. So that's what? Thousands, million, billion, 3.5 trillion, because it's in thousands, so you add in 3 extra zeros. A lot of money. Nonetheless, let's go back and let's look at their actual info table. And let's search AMC. And as you can see, we got a whole bunch, because they do report for a lot. It's a combination report. So let's add, if you add that all together, you should come up with the 30 million. So to verify, we can do the math right here. 569, 236, 5. Okay, 30,482,159. Does that match? Yes, it does. Yes, it does. And yes, it does. So yes, information does seem to be correct. So that's just the process I go through to verify the information. So what I've done is that I've already compiled this information. I've taken screen caps, and I've made easy to see info. So this is an old format that I've done. But anyways, here's the total. So that was as of June 30th. We'll pull up their previous 13F. So that was effective, really period of report for March 31st. So from January to March, 27,334,957 shares. So what do we have? Increase from 27.3 million to 40.8 million. So they've increased their position. So let's look at another big hitter, Vanguard. Oh. Vanguard. I'll blow that up for now. And here, this is for March 31st. They filed that on May 14th. 37,441,784. Their most recent one filed yesterday, August 13th, for June 30th. 44,434,498. So from 37.4 mil to 44.4 mil. That's what, approximately 6, almost 7 mil. So we have movement there. And some other hitters that I wanted to cover. Geode Capital. I apologize if I'm pronouncing it wrong. I'm not sure how to pronounce it. Let me close out Vanguard. We don't need Vanguard anymore. 6.2 mil as of March 31st. As of June 30th, 7.6 mil. So they have also increased their position little over 1.4 mil. That's Geode Capital. Let's look at Group 1. Group 1, if you pull up their information, they held no shares as of their March 31st filing. They had 4.8 million calls, 1.4 million puts, though. Fast forward to June 30th. Look, now they hold 1 million shares, 4.4 million calls, 2.4 million puts. So their calls shrunk down a little bit. Their puts have increased by almost 1 million. And they added 1 million shares. Let's look at JP Morgan Chase. JP Morgan Chase. March 31st, 1.1 million shares, 42,000 calls. Fast forward. June 30th, 1.2 million shares, 183,000 calls. So shares wise, hasn't moved much, but they did pick up about 140,000 calls. Let's look at Northern Trust. Basically 7 million shares as of March 31st. 4.2 million shares as of June 30th. So the real big, I guess the overarching theme I want to come back to was, hey, people constantly they refer to this, or they refer to some sort of total that they see on some sort of website saying that, hey, look at, as of this date, look at how many shares institutions held. Okay, so for example, I'm going to keep on referring to this because a lot of people refer to this FINRA site. This, I can't stress this enough, Silver Lake zeroed out. But ignoring that, then the top 10 institutions, 37 mil, 27 mil, wrong, as covered in multiple different videos. Fidelity 7.6, Northern Trust 7 mil, Ambuscade Place 6.6, State Street 6.5. So let's compile a mini list, which I started to do here and there. So far, some of the big hitters that I've come across: BlackRock, 30 mil. Vanguard, 44 mil. You know what? Let's do from largest to smallest. So Vanguard holds the most, 44 mil. BlackRock, 30 mil. Geode, 7.6. Northern Trust at 4.2. Renaissance at 1.8. Bank of New York Mellon Corp, 1.8. JP Morgan Chase, 1.2. Group 1, 1 mil. Susquehanna, 238. State Street Corp, no update yet. So, there's a couple I didn't cover yet. But Susquehanna is something I did want to cover, because due to their sheer number of options involved here. So let's look at their older filing first. March 31st, total shares 4 mil, total puts 10 mil, total calls almost 11 mil. Now fast forward to June 30th. Look at where did all those shares go? Shares are down to 238,000. Puts are 13.6 mil. Calls are 16.6 mil. So they shed from 4 mil down to 238,000. They shed almost 2.8 mil shares? Or 3.8, my bad. more along the lines of 3.7 to 3.8. So they shed a decent chunk of shares. Street Corp. So we know their previous position on March 31st, 6.5 mil. With quarter two have ended, they're coming upon the deadline of when they need to file these 13F. So probably by Monday or Tuesday, unless they somehow were approved for an extension, which, as far as I know, is you'd have to have some very special circumstance in order for that extension to be even approved, or for them to even file it, so that they can get more time to file it. But nonetheless, within the next couple of days, we should see where Street Corp lies in regards to this. And one thing I did want to report was that, hey, this is an amendment that they ended up filing on July 9th. They're reporting their position for March 31st. They filed this, their initial filing back in May, but then they filed an amendment almost 2 months later. Goes to show you the interesting thing in regards to 13F filings and how loosely perhaps the SEC might be tracking the information that it receives from the laws that, or the rules that it's supposed to cover. So nonetheless, if we look back, as I said, BlackRock increased their position, Vanguard increased their position, Geode increased their positions, Northern Trust increased their positions. So if you look at any of the other big institutions, Susquehanna, they added more options but decreased their shares. Group 1 increased their shares. Renaissance increased their shares. Bank of New York Mellon increased their shares. So two groups that I'm closely monitoring that I want to know what happened was Invesco. What happened to them? So next couple days we'll see what happened to them. Street Corp, similar situation. And also get an update in regards to Fidelity, because we know that Fidelity also holds a significant number of millions of shares within their mutual funds. So it'd be interesting to track their movements. But nonetheless, definitely got some interesting movement in those institutions. As opposed to if that'll help or hurt the cause, it's hard to really judge it. We know that groups such as BlackRock and Vanguard, we know that they lend out securities. We know that they make money off of that process. Now, is that harming the situation for retail investors? That I can't quite say. I'm not sure. I don't have definitive evidence showing that, hey, it's hurting the movement or it's helping the movement. A lot of tinfoil hats, but I choose to not come down with a specific opinion yet until I have more information, which is how I think people should proceed. However, we have tons of YouTubers that go forth and say otherwise. They run off with it saying, oh, this is super bullish, or oh, this is super bearish. No, we need more information. Let's talk about facts, talk about data that we can verify to the best of our abilities, grabbing it from the most direct source possible. And that's what I wanted to cover in this video today. But before I close off, there's one YouTuber that I came across. He also came across me, that I did want to give a quick shout out to. So this is YouTuber Scotty. He has quite a bit of lot of YouTube videos so far. Looks like he puts out several a day. But the thing I liked about his channel, I'll be honest, I haven't seen every single one, but from the many I've seen, more than like 15, 20 of his videos, he's much like me, We like to tackle issues of blatant misinformation or omissions of information, or ones or YouTubers or social media influencers who have such a big bias in regards to pushing a certain narrative. And in this case, a lot of these retail investors are pushing for a super bullish case of AMC. And a lot of these folks, they're barely doing DD. Whatever DD they do, highly biased, not really verified, not double checked, not really analyzed. They're not even doing this DD themselves. They're ripping it off of Reddit, Twitter, and other people's research and hard work and time. And we're trying to expose the issues. So it looks like he's been hitting up Wrench Capital. Looks like that's Trey. Looks like a couple searches of different YouTubers just straight from the search bar, and so forth. I think that we need more people like Scotty, and don't want to toot my own horn myself, but we need more people who are level headed, who are looking for verified sources of data. Those who do have at least a baseline knowledge of investing in the stock market, in the U.S. stock market, so you know how things operate, so you know that you don't make wild conclusions or make assumptions that are completely incorrect. But nonetheless, that was the video for today. I should have an update in regards to some of the ETFs. Interesting thing, Vanguard will be reporting their end of month positions for July, and for their ETFs, I believe tomorrow, if not on Monday. So I'll have a big update for that for Vanguard. And we know that from the list that Vanguard is the biggest institutional holder of AMC as of their last 13F filing, reporting for June, 44.4 million. So that's almost 10% of AMC's total shares outstanding. So they certainly have a big vested interest. Same thing with BlackRock. These two, 74 million, almost 75 million shares. So they must know something, or they have a good guess as to what could occur for them to have a significant amount of money invested into AMC. So their value, what's a million billion, 2.5 billion, 1.7 billion dollars. That's what, 4.2 billion dollars. You don't have 4.2 billion dollars invested into a company for no reason. They're in it to make money, so they must be seeing an opportunity to make money. So we'll see. But stay tuned for that. Probably a Sunday evening drop if Vanguard does release their information on Sunday. If not, a Monday evening drop for the ETF update. Until next time, this is Shadow Stars out. Peace.